All right, so you joined the Navy. You have how's boot camp? You're no factor. You a wrestler.
Yeah,
You're used to
boot camp was just something to go through. It was pretty wild to see.
Did you go to Orlando or Chicago?
Yeah,
or
that's where all the dive fairs went at the time.
Okay, yeah, that's where I went too. So I guess that makes sense.
It's wild seeing all these folks come from, that boot camp was a factor, like a wow factor. Either the teamwork part of it, people getting authority as a recruit that you should never have authority. and then and seeing people stressed out about the simplest of things. And that was wild to see those differences in people wow. So boot camp off the books, boot camp, Navy boot camp is different. It's a lot about isolation and staying on a ship. Mm-hmm. You're only allowed off the ship one time, for like a recruit weekend or something like that. You have, that's what the Navy's about. You're stuck on a boat.
And the Navy's about like blue collar industrial work. That's what most of the Navy is. Sure. And that's why Navy boot camp is a lot about attention to detail, following directions to a T, checking your work. Cause if you're working on an aircraft or you're working on a engine or you're working on a parachute, like all these jobs, they're industrial jobs. Yeah. And you got to be squared away at that thing, as opposed to the Army or the Marine Corps. A lot of those are field jobs. You got to be doing something in the field. I mean, of course, the Marine Corps has aircraft mechanics and everything else too, and so does the Army. But the Navy is vast majority of it is industrial work. People that know how to work on engines, people that know how to work on electronic equipment. That's what it is. Right. So that's what the Navy boot camp's geared to. I think it's come a long way now. If you go watch like a Navy boot camp video, they have a simulator in Chicago, like a ship simulator that fills with water, and they got to fight fires, and so I think they did do a good job. It looks like they've done a good job at making it a little bit more combat related, or at least like Navy warfighting, to at least get you that mentality, because you should have that mentality if you're in the Navy. So I think they've done a good job moving in that direction. But essentially, it's a bunch of industrial work that you're learning how to do. Yeah, thick, thin, thick. Yeah. What's that? The T-shirt, the way you fold the T-shirt. This is the Echo Charles. So when you fold a T-shirt for Navy boot camp standards, there's like a certain way to fold it, and it ends up looking like there's a thin layer, then a thick layer, then there's a thin layer, and then another thick layer. And you got to learn this, and you do it. Like following orders, attention to detail. Yeah. Before you get to play with a nuclear reactor, we want to make sure you can fold a T-shirt.
Wait, what's thick and what's thin? I don't
know. It's the folds. Yeah, there's other material under there, so the first fold is thick. The next two folds are thin, and then there's another thick one. Yeah. It's just the way it's just it's this funny thing that that was 1988.
Yeah, I don't know if they still have it, but I know Leif Babin still folds his shirts like in a Navy manner. Is that right? Yeah. I was like, bro, he went to the Naval Academy. One day I saw his stuff folded. I was like, damn, what's going on over here?
Yeah, it's stuck. It is a little attention to detail things, but some of these folks couldn't. There was this brilliant, young man, kid, and he wigged out in the end. Started crying.
Oh yeah, you definitely see some people wig out. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Wow,
no doubt about that.
I mean, I understand it's some other things. I wouldn't have wigged out for that, but I get it. SEER school, and I didn't see anybody wig out in the teams, but I saw them wig out in SEER school. Yeah. But not Navy boot camp. They yell at you. Yeah. That's an expectation. Should be. But some people just aren't used to that in their life. And. Wow.
Yeah, I think also people get the impression that this is what the whole Navy is going to be like for the rest of my career. People are going to be yelling and screaming, and you think, I can't take this and leave, or
No, they just want to make sure you can stand up to a little bit of stress, because eventually something might get stressful.
Yeah, for sure.